Two got a tango and hold his hand out. So if you shot it, I don't think he's gonna do it. He's not gonna do it. He knows he ain't gonna do it.
Why is it so personal with you two?
I mean, it's not personal. It's just, man, we're gonna fight. And like, I understand him trying to be a quote unquote gentleman, but that's not the facts, because like he done said stuff about him, taking my eye and breaking it and all this type of stuff, saying this, and then you want to shake my hand. He was like, you trying to take my eyesight, but now you want to shake my hands and be friends or whatever. Like, I don't want to shake your hand. Like, you saying all this type of stuff about me, you gonna do this, you gonna do that, okay, you're gonna beat me like Fundora did Keith Thurman, and you're gonna retire.
Honestly, there's nothing personal for me. This is such a big moment in my life that I'm just, just taking it with both hands, and I just really want to do some damage. I really want to get myself to that next level, and this is what.
I don't know if it makes up for everything, but what it does do is it catapults him to the high status of this weight class, because his name is one of the bigger names in the weight class. So whenever you have a big name in a weight class like this, where there's a lot of top fighters, but fighters are still struggling to get their name and make it big, you automatically put yourself in a position to get any of those big fights, because now those guys look at you as a scalp, and now you position yourself to get a shot at those guys. Now, they may look at you as a scalp, but you're looking at yourself like, okay, my name is...
Like a dodgeball team, hey? But how does he look to you? What do you make of him?
The thing I know about Errol is this is what he doesn't care for. He doesn't care for media. He doesn't care for time to talk and smile. He's ready for this night to be over. I saw him earlier. He looked comfortable. He looked relaxed, like he's been here before, not like it's been 3 years, I've seen guys before that have tried to make comebacks, and they're overexcited about it. They're super happy and, beyond. He's right where he's always been, and I think that those are good signs for him ahead of his fight.
Is that a bad sign for Tim, potentially?
I mean, Tim's got to show up, and I like what Tim told me. Tim says, I want to walk across the ring, and I want to punch him in the mouth.
Fans and experts respond with excitement before Errol Spence Jr. and Tim ultimately square off, sending shockwaves through the boxing world.
Someone else, we might be looking at, a little softer version of Tim, but I think we're going to get a strong Tim.
I suppose, how many more times can he chop and change? This has got to be it, though. He's overhauled his team twice in the past 12 months. So, is this the final roll of the dice?
Yeah, this is... If he wins here, the game keeps going. He's not leaving. He's going to keep going down the road. But if he gets beat here, it's hard. It's going to be difficult to convince anyone outside of Australia that he can regain world-class level. Maybe within Australia, friends, the locals, the fan base, okay, they want to keep following him. But I think if you get beat here, unless you get beat in an all-out, super entertaining war where people want to see you again, it's probably over at a world-class.
Tension between Spence and Tim has been evident from the start, but it has now escalated to the point that Spence says he won't even shake hands with Tim following the altercation.
Like, I'm not trying to shake your hand, bro. Like you said what you said, now stand on it.
I told people the question that was presented to me is this mind games coming from Errol. I said, Errol's not really the mind game kind of guy.
Yeah.
Is it mind games, or is it like...
There's no mind game. I don't play mind games. Bro, I don't play no mind games. Like, it's how I feel. Like, I don't want to shake your hand, bro.
Just keep the same energy as before, yeah.
Like, I don't want to shake your hand, bro. It's just what it is. There's no mind games. I don't play mind games. It's just, I'm not going to shake your hand, bro.
Even after the fight, I saw that too. You're like, I ain't shaking it after the fight either.
Yeah, like, you said what you said, bro. I don't really care for him like that. So.
Tim also stresses that this pressure is nothing new for him. Conceding the battle is unusual, but asserting he has faced similar situations throughout his career.
I've had a couple of these moments. The first time I had it was with when I fought Jeff Horn. The second time I had it was with Tony Harrison, and I haven't had it since. I've been searching for it. What is it going to make me feel like this is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I hadn't had it. Like, even in the Fundora, I was waking up and I was like, this doesn't feel like fight week, But this feels something different, when you put all on the line, you roll the dice. This feeling of just I don't know. I can't really describe it, but
how are you handling it?
Great.
You're handling it great.
Yeah, great. Because when I feel it.
The Tim against Spence battle has often been compared to Danny Green versus Roy Jones Jr. when Green pulled off a shocking upset. Speaking at the face-off, Green believes Tim must test Spence early and wonder how much is left in the tank.
You know, well, to be honest, it's really difficult because 3 years out, he's had one fight in 4 years. You know, beat Ugas, which is a great victory. And so that inactivity is difficult, and it can work in some guys' favour and it can work against some guys. So it's yet, when the bell goes, that's when we're going to find out. After a couple of rounds, we'll know what kind of Errol Spence is here. And I expect Tim to question what kind of Errol Spence is here.
Furthermore, Green discloses what his game plan would be if he was in Tim's corner. Questioning Spence's long layoff, he insists there may be nothing left in the tank and believes Tim may make him regret coming into the ring. He shows the difference between an inactive fighter and someone competing regularly, explaining how timing, sharpness, and absorbing strikes may become serious challenges after an extended absence.
If you were in Tim Tszyu's corner, what does Tim Tszyu need to do to win this fight?
I think be calculated. But look, I'm going to say something that's kind of it's contradictory. Be calculated, but he's got to test him early. He's going to, hey Errol, how does this feel after so long? You like this? You know, give him a couple of you know, leather sandwiches and see how he likes that. You know, when you get a punch in the face after a while out, when you used to get him punched in the face, it doesn't hurt. It really doesn't hurt. It frustrates you. The pain doesn't, you don't feel the pain till later. Broken bone.
The time is finally here, and so are the predictions. Sean Porter lays down the explosive showdown between Spence and Tim, detailing why he believes this will be a savage dogfight with both fighters bringing power, tenacity, and drive. Porter describes how Spence's expertise and pressure could become the determining factor and perhaps lead to a surprising 7th round stoppage.
This is going to become either you get me or I get you. This fight's not going the distance. That's the most I could predict about this fight.
It's not going the distance.
It's not going the distance.
You know what? I'm going to agree with you. I agree with you.
If somehow it went the distance, it would be like a Castillo and Corrales, like where these guys are bashing each other.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like kind of scary near the end, you know?
Give me a round. Where's the stop? 5 or 6?
7.
Ooh, 7. That's just a wild guess.
How do you come up with, like, you know,
Oh, no.
I hate when people are like, you know, yeah, there's an arrow in 7. Like, what needed to happen in the first 6 rounds for you to know that
Exactly.
the 7th?
Porter talks into the fighting techniques of both Tim and Spence, offering his professional analysis on what makes this battle so deadly. He explains how their strengths, pressure, power, and ring habits might define the entire match. From Spence's technical approach to Tim's aggressive style, Porter highlights the critical areas that could determine who controls the battle and which fighter has the advantage when the final bell comes.
Someone that like really pushes in. Don't be surprised if he's not pushing in like that. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to think it's because he might be afraid to get hit and things like that. Those are like the wrinkles of being a mature, seasoned fighter.
Do you think that kind of strategy will actually add to his game? Because the Fundora fight with Tszyu, very similar. Fundora just kept him away with the jab, kept him jabbing away. Spence will have a kind of similar game plan going to this fight, no?
Could be. You know, that broomstick isn't nearly as long as Fundora.
Of course.
Tim likes to keep you busy. So it could be a little challenging to try to stay behind your jab with a fighter that wants to be on top of you, you know? So, and that's why I think that step around is going to be...
Highlighting punch resistance and the difference in ring activity, Sean emphasizes that the battle will not just come down to who lands the harder shot or who gets hurt first. He believes the true deciding factor will be the force behind every strike and how both boxers react when faced pressure. According to him, the ability to absorb damage, recuperate, and continue fighting could determine who survives the worst moments.
Is punch resistance a thing?
100%.
3 years, long time.
100%. For both guys, though. For both guys. You know, you got one guy who hasn't been pounded on in 3 years, and then you got another guy who has been.
you know, so
there's scar tissue, a lot of scar tissue.
Both guys, you know. And again, we're talking about scar tissue, but what about for the sake of words, trauma? You know what I mean? The you know, when that punch comes that I didn't see, you know, what does it remind me of? What goes through my mind? You know what I mean? This is what I know, right? And I'm like kind of just breaking this breaking this down right now. When a fighter reacts incorrectly to a punch that they would not have in the past, I've told people.
Adding to the topic, Roy Jones Jr. compares Spence's fighting style to the legendary Marvin Hagler, claiming he brings the same pressure and toughness. He insists Spence is approaching the ring with the mindset of a bulldog ready to charge forward, overpower Tim, and take entire control of the fight for the opening moments. According to Jones, Spence's hostility could become the toughest hurdle Tim confronts.
Errol's a pressure fighter. Errol's the type of guy, he don't have to do things 100% right, because part of his game is just to bulldog him when you down. When you bulldog and wear him down, you're not fighting at the top, not fighting like a Terrence Crawford. He's going to bulldog and wear most of them down. Look what he did so far. Only person he lost to was Bud.
Right.
Because Bud ain't going to bulldog Bud, I'm sorry. But everybody else, if he can bulldog and win you, then he going to do it. So it's like, you see little things here, little things there, but at the same time, because you know what kind of fighter he is, his pinnacle ain't the same as other people's, because his game is pressure. Pressure bust pipes. So he ain't got to do everything right. He like Marvin Hagler was. Marvin kept that pressure on him. Pressure bust pipes.
According to Roy's forecast, Tim's pressure and aggression in the early rounds will be Spence's hardest challenge. Jones anticipates Spence taking control of the bout, though, assuming he makes it through the first 5 or 6 rounds. He thinks Spence will use the same powerful blows and combinations that prevented Yordanis Ugos in their last fight to eventually break Tim down.
It's going to be a slugfest. Who are you picking in the fight?
Man, it's a hard call, but I'm going with Errol. Errol can withstand the onslaught that Tszyu gonna probably put out early, because if you get past 4 or 5 rounds, Errol definitely gonna beat him, because Errol, to me, is stronger later than anybody fight. You get him past round 6, and you got a problem in your hand. I don't care who it is. Especially if he ain't beat it up or nothing in the face. You get to round 6, you got a problem, because that's when he starts to come alive.
Yeah.
Ask Ugas.
Ask Brooke, right? Yeah. Ask Ugas.
While Roy Jones Jr. warns Tim that Spence is coming for a deadly slugfest and aims to pressure him from the opening bell. On fight night, though, Tim is still sure he can silence any skeptics. He finds Spence's attitude as disrespectful and swears to hurt him, show his point, and resolve their feud whenever they finally walk inside the ring.
All right, you know, we settle our differences on Sunday.
Is that the type of person you'd prefer to fight? Someone that's given you a bit of that attitude?
Yeah, it's a certain feeling I'm having that doesn't happen often. 3rd time in my career, this feeling I've got, and it's one hell of a feeling.
So the Tszyu eyes are back out, and I'm all about it.
I'm ready to hurt, bro. Honestly, like all this is cool and cameras and talking a bit of smack, and everyone wants a bit of headlines. But I'm just so locked in that all I want to do is just fight, you know?
What about 160? Tell us you're an official middleweight for this fight.
Yeah, refreshing. Finally, long time in the making.
Spence maintains that he is unaffected by outside events, criticism, or pressure. Since nothing can divert him from his objective, he feels that the mental fight has already been won. The mission is easy for Spence. Enter a conflict and give his best effort. He claims he is more prepared, focused, and driven than ever rather than feeling unsettled.
You're rattled, like you're a bit, phased by the trash talk and all that. Any response?
I mean, I guess if that's gonna help him. I mean, I don't think it's gonna help him. I mean, rattle mean I'm just more focused. So if the trash talk did get to me, it just made me more focused.
A lot of talk about your defeat to Terrence Crawford. How do you think Tim Tszyu would have went against Terrence Crawford?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know at all.
Do you think you're in his head a little bit? He's talking about this handshake and all this other stuff. Like, do you think you've got inside his head?
I don't know, and I really don't care. If I did get in his head, if I didn't get in his head, I'm still gonna fight the same way.
Both boxers are still demonstrating their self-assurance. Sean Porter, who has backed Spence since the fight's announcement, is altering his prediction in the interim. Porter emphasizes that he has always had faith in Spence while discussing the fight. However, He now thinks Tim has the means to make it happen and cause major issues after hearing Tim say he will confront him.
Just the subtleties of their style, Errol wins. And I've been Errol wins before, like when I heard about this fight. This
when
fight,
they were discussing it, when it was coming
goodness.
together.
And it's like even last week, I'm like, yeah, Errol, no problem. You know what I mean? Man, I'm on the plane, and you know, you got 16 hours to just sit around and think, and it's like Tim says he wants to go across the ring and punch Errol Spence in the mouth, and I'm like, the craziest thing is that could work, and because of everything that Errol's been through, because of the 3-year layoff, and you know, you don't know how built up the body is at this point in time. You're wondering, like, is punching Errol in the mouth something that could really get him over the top in this fight? Starting to lean that way.
Okay, well, I mean, the Aussie fans here in Sydney would love to see it. Last one for you. Could we ever see a
No.
Could we ever see a Sean Porter fighting in Australia?
If it's one of you two.
Okay, I'll do it.
Advising Tim on how to defeat Spence at last. Sean considers the altercation he had with him. He thinks Tim, like Crawford, can perform brilliantly by applying the knowledge gained from Spence's previous opponents. Porter outlines the crucial areas that Tim has to concentrate on and stresses that the most important element in paving the way for success will be carrying out his strategy with patience and discipline.
Say had a really great showing against Errol Spence Jr. Obviously, Terrence Crawford had a great showing against Errol Spence Jr. What did we do? We moved our feet. You know, so that's something that Tim has to be able to do on fight night. And it's not about moving around the ring and all that. The one thing for me that Tim has to do, he has to get off of the line after he punches. What does that mean? Punch, punch. Either move your head, and I like move your head and then step around. You know, I like punch, punch, and then step around. But you can't stay in front of Errol. You give him a stationary target, eventually he's going to beat you down.
Well, that's been the criticism of Tim's last fight. He hasn't stepped off the line. He's gone through a few different trainers now. Pedro Diaz, he's now moved over to Jeff Fennick.
However, Sean cannot deny that Spence's extended absence might have an impact on his output. Porter emphasizes the errors Spence has made in past battles and indicates how those flaws could become a serious issue if Tim is able to expose them, even though he still appreciates his skills. He thinks even minor mistakes could be very important in determining the result.
Describe Errol, he's not a rhythm fighter. And what I mean by that, he's not a fighter that goes out in the ring and has specific talents and abilities that he has to catch a rhythm in order to get going, right? So think about basketball. You come down, you shoot a couple of threes and eventually they start going in. Errol doesn't need to shoot to get going. You know, he comes out, it's the jab pumping, and that's just him, you know? So I really don't think 3 years off takes that away from you. You know, the things that would affect Errol, you know, being punched to the body with the 8-ounce glove, they may be in 10s now because this is a catch weight at 160, I believe it is.
Because he's coming a bit heavier?
Yeah, the fact that he's coming in a little bit heavier, you know, that body has morphed over the years, you know.
After seeing today's match, Tim's team is still optimistic and thinks his preparation is finally paying off. They cite his training camp's intensity as evidence that he is prepared for the most important test of his career. Tim believes he is in the best shape imaginable after 9 weeks of discipline and hard training, and he vows to put on a winning display when the fight starts.
When we're victorious on the 26th of July.
That's awesome. For those that don't know, they just had the face-off. Errol Spence, Tim Tszyu just sat down and had their first, I guess the first time they've seen each other in Sydney too. But when Errol walked in the room, the look on Tim's face, there was, what you just said then is noticeably different, is essentially like what I'm sort of getting to here. Like you could see a very ready, focused and eyes on the prize Tim Tszyu. He was given nothing.
Well, that's the Tim Tszyu I train. That's the Tim Tszyu that I want to step into the ring. I don't want this guy to step in the ring thinking that he's going to win the fight before it's already, before the bell's rung. And, that's the Tim Tszyu that I saw, and that's the Tim Tszyu that I've been preparing for.
With Jeff Fennick at his side, Tim's expectations soar. A former fighter who was inducted into the Hall of Fame, whose legacy speaks for itself. But Fennick's incredible story now has a new chapter thanks to this alliance. In response to those who doubt their relationship, he maintains that Tim has been emotionally and physically prepared by the camp. He claims that Tim is prepared to give a strong performance this evening.
My legacy's done, brother. All I'm doing,
that, yeah.
Understand that. what I'm doing is I'm helping a young kid who needs help.
Yeah.
Win, lose or draw, I know I've helped this man,
Yeah.
or this young man. I know I've helped him tremendously. I mean, you get all these people asking questions, asking me questions. And listen, there's only one person you've got to ask. Go in the other room and say to Tim, how do you feel? Are you happy? Have your preparation been right? Don't, that's Jeff Fennick going to help you. I've more than helped him. Like I said, I've made him a happy human being. And he hasn't been that for a long time. And I'm so proud of doing that. Forget about the win or the loss. I've put him in the position to mentally be ready to.
However, Spence has also hired Ronnie Shields as a new trainer, which has raised expectations for an entirely different performance. According to Zab Judah, this collaboration has the potential to reveal a new Spence that is very different from the combatant scenario against Crawford. Judah, who is renowned for his audacious forecasts, believes Spence will win by stoppage in the last round and anticipates that the changes within the camp will have a significant influence.
I know for a fact we're going to see a different Errol Spence than we've seen in the Terrence Bud Crawford fight. And I'm predicting that Errol Spence stops Tim Tszyu. 100%.
My boy says stops. Yo, you've been doing good with the stoppages lately, Soup.
I've been doing good, man. I've been on a roll, right? I've been on a roll.
You're calling them stoppages.
A late stoppage. The reason why I picked a late stoppage because Tim Tszyu is gonna be very sharp early. He's gonna be looking to fight. He's young. He got a lot of heart. He's ferocious. He has tenacity, and he's gonna come in there and try to make this happen. You know what I'm saying? And I think that maybe for a while because of Errol Spence's layoff and
Zab claims that Spence's lengthy layoff should not be disregarded, which is why the late stoppage forecast was made. He thinks Tim is a formidable opponent who merits respect, particularly in the early stages. Judah anticipates that Spence would take his time, observe Tim's technique, and demonstrate his genuine talent once he discovers the beat. Additionally, he maintains his round forecast, expecting that his prior accuracy with Boots Ennis will recur.
he's gonna take him a couple rounds to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But once he figure it out, I think later on in the fight, the big fish will turn back into the big fish, and he'll walk Tim Tszyu down, and he'll get a late stoppage. I'm predicting around the 9th round, though. Maybe the 9th round. The 9th round sounds pretty kosher to me. I need you guys to keep these tapes. Remember what I said, so that when it happens. Remember, I predicted almost what's his last boy? From Philly. Boots.
Ennis.
I said 4th round, and the 4th round came. This shit was it was almost over, brother. Everybody was like, oh shit.
With new trainers, different tactics, and high expectations on both sides, Spence and Tim have vowed a war, but only one fighter can emerge victorious. This battle has the potential to change everything. On fight night, who will deliver and disprove the doubters?